Below is a vocabulary list that you need to know when filling out your N-400 application. The USCIS officer might also ask you about the definition of some of these words during the interview. Preparing well will eliminate the risk of failing. Our suggestion is that you study these words. This video covers the vocabulary in the N-400 application. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time. Part 12. Additional information about you. Person applying for naturalization. Have you ever been declared legally incompetent or been confined to a mental institution? Declare. To say or state something in an official or public way. Incompetent. Lacking necessary ability or skills. Law. Not able to take part in a trial. Confined. To keep a person or animal in place, such as a prison. Do you now have, or did you ever have, a hereditary title or an order of nobility in any foreign country? Hereditary, holding a position or title that was passed on from your parent or an older relative. Order of nobility, the group of people who are members of the high social class in some countries. Have you ever advocated, either directly or indirectly, the overthrow of any government by force or violence? Advocate, to support or argue for a cause, policy, etc. Overthrow, to remove someone or something from power, especially by force. Have you ever persecuted, either directly or indirectly, any person because of race, religion, national origin, membership in a particular social group or political opinion? Persecute, to treat someone cruelly or unfairly, especially because of race or religious or political beliefs. Were you ever involved in any way with any of the following? A genocide? Genocide. The deliberate killing of people who belong to a particular racial, political, or cultural group. Were you ever a member of, or did you ever serve and help, or otherwise participate in any of the following groups? Participate, to be involved with others in doing something, to take part in an activity or event with others. Paramilitary unit, a group of people who act like a military group but are not part of the official military. Vigilante unit, a group of people who act like the police but are not part of the official police. Rebel group, a person who opposes or fights against a government. Guerrilla group, a group of people who use weapons against or otherwise physically attack the military, police, government, or other people. Against, in opposition to, someone or something. Militia, an army of people no part of the official military. Insurgent organization, a group that uses weapons and fights against a government. Were you ever a worker, volunteer, or soldier, or did you otherwise ever serve in any of the following? Detention facility, a place where people are forced to stay. Labor camp, a place where people are forced to work. Did you ever recruit, ask, enlist, sign up, conscript, require, or use any person under 15 years of age to serve in help an armed forces or group. Recruit, ask, to find suitable people and get them to join a company, an organization, the armed forces, etc. Enlist, sign up, to sign up a person for duty in the Army, Navy, etc. Conscript, require, a person who is forced to serve in the armed forces. Did you ever use any person under 15 years of age to do anything that helped or supported people in combat? Combat, active fighting, especially in a war. Have you ever committed, assisted in committing, or attempted to commit a crime or offense for which you were not arrested? Commit, to do something that's illegal or harmful. Assist, to give support to, help, to make it easier for someone to do something or for something to happen. Attempted, having been tried without success. Offense, a criminal act. Have you ever received a suspended sentence, been placed on probation, or been paroled? Sentence, the punishment given by a court of law. Suspend, to stop something for a usually short period of time. Probation, a situation or period of time in which a person who has committed a crime is allowed to stay out of prison if that person behaves well, does not commit another crime, etc. Parole, permission to give to a prisoner to leave prison before the end of a sentence, usually as a reward for behaving well. Have you ever sold or smuggled controlled substances, illegal drugs, or narcotics? Smuggle, to move someone or something from one country into another illegally and secretly. Substance, a material of a particular kind. Have you ever failed to support your dependents or to pay alimony? Alimony, an allowance made to one spouse by the other for support pending or after legal separation or divorce. Have you ever given any U.S. government officials any information or documentation that was false, fraudulent, or misleading? Fraudulent, dishonest. Misleading, fool. Have you ever lied to any U.S. government officials to gain entry or admission into the United States or to gain immigration benefits while in the United States? Gain, the increase. Admission, the fact of being accepted as a student at a school. Have you ever been removed, excluded, or deported from the United States? Excluded, except. Or removal, exclusions, rescission, or deportation proceedings, included administratively closed proceedings, currently pending against you? Rescission, an act of rescuing, cancellation. Have you ever served in the United States Armed Forces? Armed Forces, the combined military, naval, and air force of a nation, military. Have you ever been court-martialed, administratively separated, or disciplined, or have you received an other than honorable discharge while in the U.S. Armed Forces? Court-martial, a court consisting of commissioned officers and in some instances enlisted personnel for the trial of members of the armed forces or others within its jurisdiction. Have you ever been discharged from training or service in the U.S. Armed Forces because you're an alien? Alien, relating, belonging, or owing allegiance to another country or government. Foreign. Have you ever left the United States to avoid being drafted in the U.S. Armed Forces? Draft, to pick specially for required military service. Have you ever applied for any kind of exemption from military service in the U.S. Armed Forces? Exemption, freedom from being required to do something that others are required to do. Have you ever deserted from the U.S. Armed Forces? Deserted, to abandon military service without leave. If the law requires it, are you willing to perform non-combatant services in the U.S. Armed Forces? Non-combatant, a person such as military chaplain or doctor who is in the Army, Navy, etc., but does not fight. Part 13. Applicant statement, certification, and signature. I further authorize release of the information contained in this application and supporting documents and in my USCIS records to other entities and persons where necessary for the administration and enforcement of U.S. immigration laws. Enforcement, to make sure that people obey the law. I understand that USCIS will require me to appear for an appointment to take my biometrics, fingerprints, photographs, and/or signature, and at that time, I will be required to sign an oath reaffirming that. Reaffirming, state again as a fact, assert again strongly. I certify under penalty of perjury that I provided or authorize all of the information in my application. I understand all of the information contained in and submitted with my application and that all of this information is complete, true, and correct. Perjury, the voluntary violation of an oath or vow, either by swearing to what is untrue or by omission to do what has been promised under oath. False swearing. Part 17. Renunciation of foreign titles. Part 17. Renunciation of foreign titles. Renunciation, the act of practice of renouncing, repudiation. Part 18. Oath of allegiance. Part 18. Oath of allegiance. Oath of allegiance, to promise loyalty to a person, country, group, etc. If your application is approved, you'll be scheduled for a public oath ceremony, at which time you'll be required to take the following oath of allegiance immediately prior to becoming a naturalized citizen. prior. First, I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen. Hereby, by this mean, entirely, to the full or entire extent, completely. Abjure, to renounce upon oath. Fidelity, the quality of being faithful or loyal to a country, organization, etc. Potentate, one who wields great power or sway. State, of provided by or concerned with the civil government of a country. Sovereignty, a country's independent authority and right of self-control. Heretofore, up to this time, hitherto. Subject, a person who owes loyalty to a monarch or state. That I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Defend, to protect from danger or attack. That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, so help me God. Obligation, something a person must do because of the demands of a promise or contract. Evasion, the act of avoiding something that you do not want to do or deal with, the act of evading something. Good luck on your citizenship test.